Uganda first.
Hello, welcome to Youth of Purpose, a show that is here to transform you and empower you as a young person to be able to contribute to Uganda's development and be able to also transform yourselves. Now today we're talking about a very important topic, something that we cannot do without if a country like Uganda is to develop. We're talking about youth participation in building peace. For anyone to be able to develop, talk about socially, economically and politically, there must be presence of peace. There must be peace for us to be able to develop and do things freely and be able to think, be creative. You know, you cannot be able to think positively when you're in time of war, when there is violence. Look at some young people, parents, women that are suffering from domestic violence. A person of that kind, let's say it's a child going to school, will not be able to concentrate because of the absence of peace at their home. And therefore, for anything to be done positively and for a country to be able to develop, peace is very, 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 very crucial. And now, the fact that the youth are over 77% of Uganda's population, I do believe that there can't be peace without whole of this big population being involved. We're going to be looking at how this can be done and how the youth can be supported to be able to participate in the building of peace. We're going to be talking to the Assistant Commissioner of the National Secretariat for Patriotism, which is the sponsor of this show, and she's going to be telling us what can the young people do, what can a young patriot do to be able to participate and contribute to building of peace in this country. We're going to listen in to her and we'll be right back.
My name is Bananuka Beatrice, a teacher by profession. I'm currently the Assistant Commissioner in charge of patriotism in the country. First of all, when we talk about peace, we are talking about a state of tranquility, orderliness, where we don't expect conflicts, where we don't expect disturbances in a given community, where everybody is happy. And as people teaching patriotism, I must say that peace is a patriotic value. We teach peace building because patriotism is all about loving ourselves, loving our country, loving our neighbors. And when you love people, when you love your country, you live in a peaceful environment. The youth have a role to play. They have a very big task. They are today and tomorrow's leaders. And they should be ideologically focused. They should be taught to love their country. They should be taught to love themselves. And they should be taught about the good values that we cherish as a country, the ethical values. So when we talk about peace, we are talking about a situation where the youth are going to defend their country, are going to defend all the resources that we have as a country that we cherish. And in that way, we shall be able to celebrate as a country, as people who are experiencing peace. In that way, every youth that is listening to me should try as much as possible to detest crime. Crime is not good, and some other unbecoming behavior. If we want to have a very good country, we should shun crimes. We should ensure that we preach love. We should ensure that people are happy. Let us embrace the good programs the leaders have put in place for us, and we shall come out successfully. We shall enjoy our country, we shall love one another, we shall be peaceful, and our communities will also be peaceful. That is my message to the young people.
Those are very, very, very beautiful insights right from, you know, the Assistant Commissioner of NSPC. So as young people, you know, for our communities to be able to thrive and our communities to be peaceful and enjoy, those are some of the roles that we have to play. But again, that is a patriotic act. You getting to know that for Uganda to develop, we need to be peaceful. That's by all our actions, by what we do, the information that we consume, all that comes together to build the peace that this country needs. Now we're going to be talking to a number of young people to tell us what do they think about peace building, what can they do to contribute to peace in this country, what is their role as young people, what are the challenges that they do face as far as building peace is concerned, and how can they be supported. Let's listen in and we'll be right back.
My name is Oriko Brenda. I am a lawyer by profession. Today our topic is the role of the youth in peace building. First of all, what is peace? When I try to understand peace, peace means one where a society, a peaceful society is one where people are able to live happily, where people are able to exercise their rights and their freedoms, where people's views, opinions are respected. And peace generally to me is being assured of a safe environment and a safe tomorrow. So as young people, how can we contribute towards peace building? One, when we are talking about peace, as young people, it's important for us to know that our future is at stake. Because a peaceful tomorrow will guarantee that we as young people have a peaceful future. Not only for us young people, but even for the older generation. Peace is one aspect that is indispensable. A peaceful society is a society that is on its way to development. Let me share one of my experiences with you. I come from Moyo district, and during those days of the LRA insurgency, when you were going to the village, you would have to wait for a convoy. So what would that mean? When you drive to Gulu, you stop there and then you wait for other vehicles, and then you wait for the police to come and lead you in a convoy, and then you'd all travel together to a certain point because of the insecurity. And as a young child, I remember that whenever I would go to the village, I hated the idea of going to the village, because we'd have to sit in the convoy, and through the convoy you're kind of worried. Are the rebels going to come? Will they get out of the bushes and stuff like that? So when you contrast that situation to what is happening right now, let me say in northern Uganda or even in West Nile, there is peace. And what does that mean? That as young people, you can see that people are farming. Those days, there was nothing like farming, because how do you be in the garden and you're not assured of your security, you know? So there is farming. People are able to start up projects. People are able to go to school. And so for me, the aspect of peace, as I earlier on said, is really indispensable. A society that is peaceful is a society that is on its way to development. So as young people, if we want to assure our future, if we want to ensure that we have a bright future, we must put our hands together towards keeping Uganda peaceful. Uganda is not for me alone. Uganda is not for you alone. Uganda is for each and every one of us. And therefore, as young people, I encourage us to join our hands. We have peace in Uganda right now. Let us preserve the peace that we have. Let us say no to violence. Let us refrain from engaging in strikes, from engaging in riots, from engaging in anything that will disrupt the peace that we enjoy. Let us be the whistleblowers, the people who cry out, the people who immediately report incidences of instability, incidences that are likely to jeopardize the peace that we have. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Ndiaba Mayas. When we talk about peace building, first of all, we need to understand why do we need peace? As the youth, we usually think that peace is about the army, the police, or the government. But we are also actors. We need to be participants. We need to participate when it comes to building peace and creating peace in our country. We need peace because majorly for the youth, when you hear reports, when you read the news, in most cases, the reports are it's about the youth being violent, the youth being unemployed. So the picture of the youth, in most cases, everything that is talked about, we talk about their problems. But even if we get jobs, even if we get what we are advocating for, if there is no peace, we are not going to enjoy that job. You're not going to enjoy the job, the work that you are, or that business that you have started will not thrive. So we must come up, we must wake up and participate in peace building from the local setting, the lower levels. We must know that it is our responsibility to have peace in our communities. We must not wait to be used by politicians to participate in riots, to participate in demonstrations, to show that we are disgruntled. As the government plans and sponsors programs geared towards creating peace, as they invest in peace building, you as a youth, what have you done? What can you do? There are small things that we can do at our level. For example, if there are fights within the community, do you think you have an idea? Do you think you can tell someone to choose peace? These people that are fighting over land, we have very many youth who have gone through schools, who have graduated. You are out there, you are in the village. Maybe you can speak a word or two and tell someone that, yes, I know you are not happy with this person. You don't need to fight. You don't need to kill them. But we can come on the same table and find a way out and negotiate and talk about it. So the youth must be at the forefront when it comes to peace building. Before the government even comes, before political leaders come, we must be there. So we can also talk about conflict resolution amongst us and our communities. In areas where we reside, in areas where we work from, areas where we play from or pray, there are things that happen, there are things that are happening that we already know are going to lead to instabilities, people fighting. So as the youth, we can have associations that promote togetherness, that promote love within ourselves, because as Ugandans, we must know that we have only one country. This is the only country we have, this is the only land we have. Your brother, your sister, your friend, your neighbor is the only person that you have around. So you don't let them go into fights, but you can always preach peace, promote peace. As you play football at your pitch, your stadium out there, talk about solving issues. Let's always talk about these things and make sure that we find a solution. So in summary, let's preach peace, let's promote peace, and practice peace.
My name is Irene Arnete. Youth participating in peace building, they need to be involved in decision making at all levels. When you look at our structures in government, most especially, you find that the youth are neglected. Look at the local councils, most of them are filled with the elderly people, and you find that the youth voice is not represented. So I would encourage that if we would engage youth in all decision-making areas, all of them would have their voice represented, and then they would tell us what they think can be done such that peace, we can realize peace, all of us. That is it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Albert Mesegwa and I work with COACT. As a young person, I believe that peace evolves on the decisions that we make now, the people that we engage, the information that we interact with, and the actions that we take as young people. And as young people, we have a very big role when it comes to contributing peace. We have to make sure that we understand, first of all, what peace is and what we need to do as young people, which means we need the right information, we need the right platforms where we can engage, dialogue, and speak out on the grievances that we feel first in our hearts, but also the things that we feel uncomfortable. We can no longer sit back and wait for others to create the environment that we want, but we have to engage, to dialogue, and discuss. Once we do that, we will have the ideas and the policies that favor us as young people. We will have the country that we are proud of and speak about, and that will create a desired environment for all of us to enjoy.
Hello, my name is Nachito Esther Christine. I'm the founder of the RDN Journey. To me, peace is basically a development of constructive personal, ethnical or religious relationships that help us to become better people across the world. Basically, youth can be able to participate in peace building in one way or the other because it plays an important role in society. If we have peace today, we can be able to move to work, we can be able to pursue our dreams, we can be able to do each and every other activity that we have to do in a peaceful environment. Peace is also essential for us to be able to be happy. It's very important for us to be happy in life and enjoy this life that God has given us. I encourage my fellow youth to participate in peace building. Get into groups. You can get into a group where you can, for example, the RDN Journey will help you get to know each other, stabilize your relationships, and also build quality relationships. It starts with you, and so you're able to build yourself as a person and also be able to interact with each other. Also, when it comes to a larger level, if you are peaceful within you, you spread out the peace. You become the peace portal. Wherever you are, you're spreading peace. So I urge you that you be peaceful. It starts with you, and then also, besides getting into places where you can be peaceful, also promote peace at your workplace. Be the kind of person that is kind and that shares love and that is generous wherever that you go. That's an element of spreading peace and spreading love. The other way youth can be able to be a part of this peace building is through the different platforms that they are at. I talked about work and environment and school and places where they have been planted. You can be a peace portal in a place where you've been planted, but also when you talk about platforms, the platforms that we are on, like social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those platforms, how are you impacting the people around you? How are you impacting your followers? Because your followers are listening to what you're saying. How are you being a peace builder on that platform? Are you adding to the peace of people? Are you bringing people together for a good cause, or are you dividing people? Are you causing tension? Because there are some people that post things that really cause tension and someone is not okay, and you can be able to use those platforms to add peace and to be a peace builder. Peace starts with you. It's an individual startup. I always tell people, change starts with you. So if we can individually start on a personal level to be peace builders, then I believe that as a nation, we can really go far with this peace building thing.
Those are very good insights right from the young people themselves, and you can see they understand perfectly well the concept of peace and their role as young people as far as contributing to peace building in this country is concerned. Now we're going to be listening into the ED of Coalition for Action on 1325, and she's going to be telling us what are some of those hindrances and challenges to youth participation in peace building and how can they be supported to be able to contribute to peace in this country.
My name is Robina Rubimbwa from the Coalition for Action on 1325. It's a women's peace building alliance of over 40 women's organizations operating in Uganda. Some are small women's CBOs, some are national level women's organizations, others work across Africa, and others are international. And our mandate is to inspire women's leadership for peace and security. And we promote the implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. The Women, Peace, and Security agenda starts with the unanimous passing of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on the 31st of October 2000. This marked the first time that the UN acknowledged that women are affected by conflicts and violence differently from the way men are affected. But it also acknowledged that in any conflict, and especially armed conflict, women are not just passive victims, they are actually active participants. And when we talk about peace building, we are talking about actions or interventions that individuals, that groups, that civil society organizations implement to increase peace at family level, at community level, in a district, in a country, or between countries. So it doesn't have to be the peace negotiations of the UN, but even small efforts of reconciling conflicting parties that are conflicting over land, that are conflicting over an election, that are conflicting over a small boundary, conflicts over children in families. So peace building can be seen at different levels. Youth are very, very important for sustaining peace in any country. If you look at Uganda, for example, the youth make the biggest percentage of the population above 15. So if you exclude them, you are excluding the bulk of society that can make decisions. So they are very important. Number two is that quite often youth are looked at as troublesome, that they cause trouble, that they are lazy, that they can't be trusted. And that's one of the challenges that hinder their participation. Because youth are not born violent. It is the society that makes them violent. It is the way society responds to their needs that makes them violent. The other challenge that they have told us, because we have held consultations with youth groups across the country, is the fact that nobody takes them seriously. You know, they think, the youth are lazy. Eh? They don't think about the future. They are only thinking about today. They are busy with the social media. They can't bother anybody because they do not think seriously. And that is wrong, because we have engaged young people, and we have a program for engaging young people, which we call Youth Action for Peace. And we have actually seen young people establish peace-building organizations. And right now, they are working. They are working in Yumbe, they are working in Kavera Maido, they are working in Ntungamo, they are working in Kasese. They are doing peace-building work on the ground. When you train young women, for example, young women from poor families, to make reusable face masks, to make reusable sanitary pads, to make liquid soap for their personal use and for sale, it decreases their vulnerability, and so they will not sell themselves to the highest bidder for sex. They will support their families. They will gain confidence. They will become leaders. So when you talk about peace building, you are talking about interventions that will help to end poverty. You are talking about the need to make sure that children, as much as possible, complete education, at least primary education. You are talking about gender equality. You are talking about equality for all. You are talking about environmental security. You are talking about personal security, food security, community security, health security, economic security. You are talking about it from a broad point of view. You are talking about good governance. So when you have that, we talk about peace and human security, we talk about good governance, and we talk about sustainable development. Those three are the major elements of sustainable peace. So that the youth need to be supported. They need to be involved. We must be deliberate in identifying where they are, mobilizing them, listening to their concerns, listening to their needs, and supporting them to address the challenges they face, but also involving them in the work we do. At Co-Act, for example, more than 90% of the staff are youth, because they are the majority in the country. And we are teaching them to build peace. We are training them to engage with the district leaders. We are training them to work with women on the ground to build peace. We are training them to reach out to other young people and bring them into the peace movement. So there is quite a lot that you can do with young people, because they are very sharp, they are very dynamic, they are smart, they have a lot of energy, they are very creative. And those are key skills that you want to bring into the peace building movement. And when we talk about youth, we are talking about both young women and young men. In fact, young women face even more challenges than young men, because they are discriminated on the basis of gender, because they are women, but they are also discriminated on the basis of being young. And we make a mistake when we do that.
Well, I do hope that for all that you've heard, all that you've listened in from different, opinions from the young people, from the ED at Coalition for Action on 1325, and from the Assistant Commission of the NSPC, as a young person, you know how you can be able to contribute and participate in peace building to make sure that Uganda becomes a better country, and you play your patriotic role of making sure that Uganda becomes better and better by day. My name is Ivan Tumkunde, and Youth of Purpose is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Call Office of the President, under the theme Uganda First. Uganda having peace, Uganda being a very conducive environment for us to be able to grow in, but also sustain the good that this country has through sustainable peace. As young people, we really can play a very, very big role, like you've seen. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Youth of Purpose, brought to you by Uganda First. The Universal Periodic Review, UPR, is a unique process under the United Nations Human Rights System. It involves peer review of the human rights records of all United Nations member states every 4 years and is purely a voluntary process where all states are treated as equal partners. The ultimate aim of this mechanism is to help improve on the human rights situation in all countries and address any human rights concerns through technical assistance and cooperation. As the coordinating entity of CSO process, the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda, with support of GIZ Uganda, is hosting a talk show on Uganda's Universal Periodic Review on Wednesday, 29th September 2021 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Panelists include Robert K. Chirega, Executive Director, National Quality